dirty. What's going on, Lawn Care Nation? Richie Plemons with Plemons Lawn and Landscape. So, tell me about your part of the country. Where I'm from, in North Georgia, you know, us being down in the southeast portion of the United States, I'm sure a lot of guys down here deal with it, but morning dew. I know a lot of people say, well, you know, I've got some buddies that are up north and they say, oh, we're just waiting on the grass to dry out before we go mow. If I done that, I'd never get anything mowed. So, we've not had rain in 2 or 3 days. I'm getting ready to show you some grass here at one of our commercial properties that we mow weekly, and it's mowed every week at anywhere between 2.5 to 3 inches. And it's a combination of weeds. It's got some crabgrass, it's got Bermuda, and it's got clover in it. I mean, it's not treated, it's not a treated property, so it's got a lot of weeds in it. Crabgrass, I know, tends to hold water underneath its leaves, so when it goes into a drought, it can continue to kind of feed itself there. So, but like I said, we've not had rain in 2 or 3 weeks, and the dew issue that we deal with here, do you guys deal with it as well? You know, where you're from, do you guys deal with the same thing? You know, a lot of people are like, well, we'll wait to mow until it dries out. Well, here we can't wait. I mean, we've got to mow it simply because it may not dry out before 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and sometimes it won't dry out at all. You know, it's just going to stay wet and all day long until the dew comes back in the late evening into the dark. As soon as it starts getting dark, the dew right back on the grass anyway. So probably has a lot to do with high humidity that we deal with here. But I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about. So we are up against the road, so it might get a little bit loud. So when you look at the grasses, you know, you see Bermuda, you see crabgrass, you see clover, a couple other different weeds in there, I'm sure. I couldn't tell you all the different weeds that come in grass, but if you look, I mean, it's growing 3-4 inches a week, it seems like. I mean, that's pretty deep grass, but you rub your hand through it, I mean, you can see the water just dripping off my hand. I mean, it's just wet. There's no way around it for us. We got to mow it. So I'm going to show you guys how we prevent from, you know, we don't want to get this out in the parking lot the best we can. I mean, you're going to get a little blowout from under the deck into the parking lot, but we do use a chute blocker on our mowers, and it will tend to leave a little bit of a grass clump along the edge of the blocker. I will take the blower every time and just blow those clumps out to kind of feather that back into the ground, and so it doesn't look so bad. But there's just no way around it. I mean, we just literally just have to mow through it and take a blower and blow it out to keep it looking good. So, you guys dealing with that where you're from? Let me know down in the comments how bad the dew is where you are, and if you're able to mow before lunchtime, or you just have to mow through it. So, let's get started. So now that we're done with the mowing, you can see the mess that it leaves behind. It's all the grass clippings, and they're so wet. I mean, it's just nasty. Good compost, I guess, but what we end up with now is a big mess of grass clumps everywhere. Now, what I can't really show you here, but a lot of people say, well, don't drive on the concrete after you come off of wet grass. They're like, don't drive on the concrete. Well, when you're doing commercial property, there's no way to avoid it. You've got to come off the island to go to the next island, and you know, if it's in the middle of the parking lot, you've got to drive across the parking lot. There's no avoiding it. And so we'll ride around in the grass. Well, you can do that, but this grass is wet, so it's still going to stick to your tires. There's just no way around it. It's gonna happen, so you just got to clean it up. It does make for a longer cleanup than if the grass was dry, of course, which I mean, that's just common sense. But I'll show you how I feather this back into the grass. A lot of guys will just leave it like this. I can't stand seeing this because it's gonna leave dead grass on top of it, and you know, it'll leave dead spots all in your grass, and it just looks bad, and it's just poor work ethic, if you ask me, not to clean it up and make it look nice. So we'll take the blower and we'll blow this out, feather it out. I'm going to use the Red Max today. It's a little bit stronger than the smaller Echo. I'm not going to break out the 9010 for this. I mean, that's for pushing big leaves. So the Red Max got a little bit, I guess, narrower path with the blower, so it makes it a little bit easier to I guess the word I'm trying to think of here is these are it's a smaller path, so it's a lot more force in a small area than if you had the 9010 where it's a real wide path. So we'll blow this up. Now what I do try to do is, like here, when I pulled away from the grass, I tried to stay up against the curb as long as I could before I had to go out around some cars. That way I don't have a whole lot out in the middle of the parking lot. I try to keep it as close to the grass as possible. Now I will say that if you do have to come off of it, try to shorten your trip, make it easier on yourself when you're finished with your mowing and everything, and you can clean up. So I'll grab the blower real quick. I'll show you guys how we feather this, because I mean, you can see there's a hedgerow or a windrow of grass down through there. We're gonna have to feather that out, but we got it mowed, we got it edged. Now it's just the cleanup part. Like I said, it'll take a little bit longer just simply because it's wet. If it was dry out, it would be easier, but you got to do what you got to do with the cards you're dealt, right? So let's get it cleaned up. you go, guys. That's how we clean it up after it's just super wet. And as summer goes on, it'll tend to kind of dry up at the back end of summer. We were kind of dry at the beginning of the year, and normally this is what it looks like in April, May, early parts of June, and we normally start to dry out. But it's super wet this year. Glasses falling off my face. Squirrel. So wall. Normally it's drying up by this time of year. It's not dried up yet, so we just have to do what we got to do. It took me all extra 10 minutes maybe cleaning up here today. So I mean, it's not like it's super long, you know, but I mean, if you do that over the course of 6 properties a day, that's an hour. So you can make your day about an hour longer. So but anyway, guys, if you hadn't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.